Thanks for listening to Real Estate Matters.
The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you all for joining us here on this beautiful weekend. Yes, it is another Go Texan edition of our show. I am Bill Knapik, the show host, and we're going to get down to business right now as we have tremendous real estate professionals right here with us. First, let's start with broker owner. Her name is Alina Rogers, and the company is Sparrow Realty. Alina, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, here we are, both wearing cowboy hats. We encourage people to go to stewart.com/radio. That way they can see the Western gear that not only you and I have on, but everybody else after.
I'm a sucker for a theme, so I was very happy to dress the part today.
Well, there you are. Let's tell people, Alina, about Sparrow Realty. It's a tremendous company.
Thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. I've been a real estate agent since 2005. I got my broker's license in 2017 and felt led to open up my own brokerage in 2018. I modeled it after a brokerage that was a blessing to me when I started early on in my career in 2005, and it's a boutique brokerage. I let my agents run their business the way that they see fit, obviously as long as we stay legal and ethical and provide our clients with 110% customer service. During the time that I created Sparrow Realty, it was actually a very difficult time in my life. My mom was going through cancer and hospice. She did end up passing, but I made it through the grace of God. So I named my company Sparrow Realty after Matthew 10, verse 30. You are worth more than many sparrows. Do not worry, you are worth more than many sparrows. And during that time, it was a constant worry. And so that was just something that really resonated with me. And my faith is very important to me. So I had to name my company after that.
A great idea. And also, it sounds like you were building the foundation of your company during trials and tribulations at the time. So here you are. A very firm foundation indeed to build upon.
Correct, yes.
Well, let's tell people, as far as geographically, of course, you have a real estate license in Texas, but primarily, where do you spend most of the time helping buyers and sellers with Sparrow Realty?
So our office is out of Manville, Texas, just south of Pearland, but pretty much anywhere from, I'd say, the middle of Houston down south to Galveston, Friendswood, Pearland, Sugarland, Acadie. We pretty much have agents all in that southern kind of area. I mean, that's not to say we can't help somebody in Tomball, but I would I would prefer to refer that out to someone that's more competent in that area and maybe closer geographically.
And let's give people an idea. Of course, a lot of people, especially those listening outside of Houston on the internet or streaming or so on, but a lot of people have certainly Houston, Sugarland, but Manville is a bit mysterious to even Houstonians. So let's tell people a little bit about Manville and what's going on there real estate-wise.
Manville, okay. Well, it is the city on the rise. It has grown tremendously. I was on the Planning and Zoning and Development Board there for 4 years, and it was a great experience to be on that. So I got to interact with a lot of the developers coming in, getting permits for their neighborhoods. We've got Pomona, Meridiana, Valencia is the next big, huge master plan community coming in. It is a country town that is now transitioning to be more suburban, like Pearland. So there's a little bit of a divide. Some people are upset and they want it to stay more rural. Others are embracing all the new developments, and we got an H-E-B now. So
that's a nice step. H-E-B is a great store. One of my favorites.
It is. I don't have to drive 15 minutes to the grocery store, so I really like it.
So when you mentioned Meridiana, I was down to Meridiana when they were first started working on it. And for those, again, listening outside, it's pretty much straight south on 288, right?
Correct.
Somewhere to the left of 288.
Yeah. Yes. East of 288.
East of 288. So now a big thing And then what else is around that? That's actually in Manville? I thought it was in Pearland. But
So, no, it's Meridiana is a huge master plan community. Part of it is in Manville, Texas, and the other part is in Iowa Colony.
How about that?
So you've got Rocheron, Iowa Colony, Manville. Meridiana is in Manville and Iowa Colony, and then on the other side you've got Sterling Lakes, Glendale, other Caldwell, other little pocket communities kind of coming up along Alameda, FM 521.
We're talking with Alina Rogers. She's the broker owner of Sparrow Realty. So as far as the marketplace right now, Alina, down there, what's going on? Is it busy? What's your outlook for 2024? What's happening?
So I feel the latter part of 2023, it slowed down a little bit, and then now it's now as we're getting into spring, it's ramping back up again. I think we're kind of back in a normal real estate market. It was kind of a frenzy over the past few years with COVID and rates and all that, and I think now we're just in a normal ebb and flow, but it is picking up.
The other thing I'm thinking about as I think of other real estate markets, how the market's expanding north, south, east, all over the place. Sounds like it's expanding in the Manville area as well and Pearland.
It is. It used to be when you got to 288 and Highway 6, there was really nothing until you got to maybe Angleton, Lake Jackson, and it's kind of sparse there too, but it's definitely growing.
Are people looking, do you serve people that are, say, in the city maybe, and they're saying, man, I want to go to the country a little bit or have a little more elbow room?
We
Does that
saw
happen?
a lot of that over the past few years. I don't know, during COVID, people were stuck in their homes. They wanted to get a bigger home or get a home with more amenities, more room. We've had a lot of clients want a house on land, half acre, 2 acres, or even 10 acres. So
you can help them with that.
new. Absolutely.
You just call Alina Rogers, right?
Absolutely.
And before the show, I want to touch upon this. You said in your home, you have several animals. Let's do a little inventory check of some of the animals that are living amongst in your household.
So we live on 2 acres in Manville. We custom built. And I say that just because that's different than going to a neighborhood with the permitting and all that. But anyways, I digress. We have 2 horses, a goat, and 2 German Shepherds.
2 horses. So that way you and your husband can ride one at a time.
We
or
do
you
not
and the children.
ride.
You don't ride them?
No, my daughter rides. Yeah.
And
my husband and I, we grew up in the city, in Katy and Sugarlands, where we grew up, and my 12-year-old is the cowgirl. It's funny how genetics works, because my mother-in-law grew up in rural Oklahoma and was rodeo queen and everything, and I gave birth to a miniature Grandma Lulu. So
she's in the room right now, I think, right?
She is, yes, and she's been riding since she was 3.
And that's Taylor.
That's Taylor,
the real Taylor. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, she's the real cowgirl in the family. We just like to dress the part.
And then Avery is also a daughter. And what's her role in the? She feeds the horses.
She actually does grooming for the horse. She's just doing the braids and all that. But she actually dances competitively at a studio in Pearland.
How cool. Well, one of the things, people tune in, and especially when they hear the show somewhere else, they think we all have horses, and actually some of us do, like you here in Texas, right?
It's funny.
That's a nice touch, Alina.
Growing up, I used to travel a lot with dancing, because I used to do ballroom dancing, and we would travel a lot, and people would go, oh, you're from Texas, you must have horses. I'm like, no, I don't have horses. Not everyone has horses in Texas.
Right.
And who knew, many years later I'd get married and have a little cowgirl, and now we have horses.
How about that? Well, that's awesome. Going back to real estate in the meantime, as far as, again, someone might want to be like you. Hey, I want a little bit, I don't want a big house, but if someone wanted a, say, 2,500 square foot, 3,000 square foot home in a little elbow room, such as an acre, half acre, they can call you. And is that even available down there now? Because it's getting pretty filled up, all these country areas.
Absolutely. There's still acreage lots. There's still plenty of acreage lots. Manville, Alvin, Rocheron, Iowa Colony, anything kind of south. Every now and then you can find a little plot of land, maybe in Pearland, like a little larger lot, maybe like 25,000 square feet. But yeah, absolutely.
And then also, are you selling land as well? If someone just wants, hey, I want a 2 acres, no home, or 5 acres, you do that as well. And
Absolutely.
And that's down there as well, right?
Yes.
So a lot of choices. It sounds pretty awesome. Give us a word, Alina, about the other agents in your company.
Okay, they're
Because
great.
you have several. You're the broker, so you're...
I do. I have 15 wonderful agents, and they're from all walks of life, and they're in real estate for all different reasons. I've got some that only do it for their own personal other business, like home flipping, one that does just mainly commercial, some that do it, on their free time, and mainly just helping family or friends, and then my other ones that do it full time, and many two of them mainly are investors. They do a lot of Airbnbs and invest those type of investment properties.
Interesting. The real estate, that's the beauty of real estate. You can do a lot of things within the scope of real estate. Before we close the segment, Alina Rogers, broker owner of Sparrow Realty. What else do you want people to know, Alina?
Okay, great. We have a website, www.sparrow-realty.com. My phone number is 281-961-2944. 281-961-2944.
Alina, thanks for being with us, and a special thanks to your two lovely daughters, Avery, who's right here, and Taylor. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us, Bill.
As we continue, let's talk to Janice Bro with Compass Realty, and also with her is Thaddeus Moore. His company is San Revo Luxury Builders. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Here you are. Well, let's tell people, first of all, Janice, you are with Compass.
Yes,
and
that's
everyone's heard of Compass. Let's tell people a little bit about the Compass location that you serve.
Well, I am in the Katy office, and I am on the Jamie McMartin team. We are a top producing team, 1% in the city.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Wow.
It's a big deal. Yeah, I'm very blessed to be on such a with a great group of not only the other agents but Jamie herself.
Right.
Is always very accessible. So it's a fantastic.
And you're based in Katy.
Based in Katy, yes.
Now, everything we hear about Katy, that's also a very active real estate market, to say the least, for a variety of reasons. Let's tell people about the Katy market right now in terms of buying and selling homes. What's the activity like?
And now it's somebody lit a fire.
We've been waiting for the fire, right?
Yeah. We've the amount of listings that's now starting to enter the market out there it's normalizing, like Alina said, before. And so we're starting to see what it was like pre-pandemic, but a little bit better, because even pre-pandemic, it was considered normal, but still could have been a better market, obviously, right? So that's what we see going forward. Yeah.
The interesting thing, I guess, like a lot of areas, Katy has some different pockets. There's Green Trails, Cinco Ranch, and things like that. What about new construction in Katy? What's happening there? And we're also going to talk to Thaddeus, who's a builder, but tell us the overview of the new construction idea.
I mean, it's blowing up out there. Sunterra opened up last year. I think it was last year. And that has that lagoon that they are now building into it. Which is fantastic for the community.
We need a lagoon in Katy, right?
Yes. And and that's great for, it makes it a very family-oriented environment. And then you've also got, going towards Hockley, Jubilee, that is a Johnson development community that's keeping to that all-natural feel, gardening and all that great stuff.
And where's that?
That's out in Hockley. It's called Jubilee. Is the name of the master. It's going to be a master plan community, and all of those production builders that you hear about, Highland Homes, David Weekley.
Well, with you have Thaddeus Moore, and Thaddeus, this is a show first. You are the first person that's ever been on the show with the name Thaddeus. That's awesome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's tell people your company is San Revo Luxury Builder. Tell us about the company.
Yes, actually, the name of the company is San Revo Luxury Homes. We build homes from $300,000 to the millions, and so that's what we do. I've been in the industry for about 21 years. I started out, believe it or not, building high-end luxury homes from $2 million to $30 million. So that was my original start, and then now in the last couple of years, because the market has shifted, we've gotten into more affordable homes, and then we still do the luxury.
So also, let's tell people, Thaddeus, the areas that you're going to be building the homes or are building the homes right now, geographically.
Geographically, well, it's going to be the greater Houston area, but it's going to be more north. So it's going to be near Magnolia. And also, too, we're doing some stuff in inner city in the Houston area.
So the connection, Janice, Thadamus and Janice, you were working hand in hand on something. So let's tell everybody what's going on there as far as what you're doing with these homes that Thadamus is building.
Well, I'll start with how we met. It was all through another, connection of somebody we knew who just happened to be a lender, because I was shifting my business towards working more closely with custom builders specifically. He connected us, and ever since, we've just grown this relationship. We were great friends, and just things started to evolve. So, we're going to start partnering up on projects. So
it sounds like if you're going to be right on the inside track of San Revo Luxury Homes, you're going to be able to help especially buyers, right?
Oh yes,
to
most
navigate
definitely.
the range of homes that are being built.
And then also too in the realm of that is also they're probably going to need a home to sell. So by keeping it in house, we're going to make the transition for them very, very smooth. By keeping control of the timelines for everything for them. That way, we sell their home, and then as their home is being built, make it an easy transition.
Well, one of the things I like, Thadamus, as you started out, is that you have the knowledge of the range of products. From a $300,000 home, that's a lot of money too, but when the $2 million home, so for someone, if I buy a $350,000 or $400,000 home, I'm going to feel a little bit better knowing that that person has the knowledge of the upper end products and the construction materials and techniques that go into building that kind of thing.
Yes, and that's kind of one of the things that we're kind of changing in the market a little bit, because I built the high end luxury homes, and and all of those homes were all magazine worthy and award winning. So what we're doing is kind of taking those.
All homes are magazine. It just depends on the magazine, right? There's before and after pictures that we could have, right?
That's true. But these are going to be like, I'm calling them the Jewel Box series homes, and
that's a good name.
And so what we're going to do is take some of the luxurious elements from the luxury market and bring some of those elements and ceiling treatments and design elements into the $300,000 market.
And when we think about, of course, location determines if it's a $3 million, $2 million,
correct,
but also the size of the home. So, hey, if you're building a 6,000 square foot home and you're bringing it down to 2,500, I'm going to get the same quality workmanship, right? Just smaller, brought
absolutely. And that's the key. It's to bring high-end quality to where there would probably not be, in that market. We're bringing the quality back to that price range.
What I think when I think of a home builder, there's so many things you have to know about and coordinate, almost like the director of an orchestra, right? I mean, you're talking about foundation, plumbing, permits. Again, regardless of the price of the home, so many things come together. How do you do that, and how do you stay organized just to be able to get that? Give us a word on that, to get that part of it done, because that's a big deal.
Yes, we call it a controlled chaos. It can be a hassle, but we're using software, and so it helps us organize, and we create selection schedules, project schedules, selection schedules. So we put all of those things together. We make it easy for the client. We're able to email them information. So we can stay in communication about the construction process. We take pictures of changes, and so it's all online now. So it's all done through software, so it makes it a lot easier.
And Janice, what are some of the other things we should know about the western part of the marketplace right there? As we're talking about Katy, I mean, people love the school district, right? That's a big drawing card. But what are some of the other things that drive the activity out there from your perspective?
Oh, as far as to live out in Katy, I mean, well, obviously, like you said, the school districts are a huge draw. But I will say that because it's such a family environment, that's truly what draws people out there. That especially in Old Town Katy, it's got that country feel that people are looking for. They're in other words, they're wanting to live like they do in the city, mm-hmm. but out in the burbs, and they can get that now. So
well, it's interesting you say that. I don't live in Katy, but I'm almost there. I'm a block away, pretty much, on the west side of Houston. And I was in the city this weekend, and then I went back home to Katy. Well, we'll call it Katy.
Yeah.
West Houston. I liked it better there because there was more room. There wasn't as much traffic on the neighbor, especially on the. You expect traffic on a street like a Westheimer or whatever, or Fry Road to balance it out.
And that's true. And I found that this last year that people, I mean, a slew of people just wanting land. They want to be able to spread out. They're tired of being confined, maybe in a condo. They just want more room, period. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was walking around homes this week with my dogs, with my dog and two other dogs that weren't mine. But anyway, walking through the streets of a neighborhood where the homes are $1 million plus, and I found it cumbersome and tight up where there was a bunch of cars. I'm like, my little Elvis, he wasn't enjoying that. I went back home, we'll say to Katy, the neighborhood streets, just more elbow room. I think it's more pleasant, but each to his own. Some
Correct.
people live close in because of jobs and so
Yes.
forth. But anyway, there's a lot to be had out there. And my mind was going crazy when I was thinking of the differences and the value of living in the west of Houston.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
What about Fulshire? You go out there?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I've had clients that I've taken out there to look at partners in building. Another builder to be able to build their home as well. And Fulshire is completely blown up too. I mean, it's literally the next Katy. And it's really difficult now to find land that's affordable,
It's
unfortunately.
expensive.
And so with that, I think what's coming next after Fulshire, Sealy is right behind that. So, yeah.
So there you go. That's another show. So in the meantime, before we close the segment, Thaddeus Moore. I just like saying that. Thaddeus Moore. What else should we know about what you're doing? Let's tell people the website or your contact information.
Yeah, so you can reach sanrivoluxuryhome.com, and my phone number is 520-591-9747. Again, the phone number is 520-591-9747, and give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you with your next home.
And Janice, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I can be reached at 713-206-2708. Our website is, of course, www.thejamiemcmartingroup.com. And if you need to reach me by email, it's janice@thejamiemcmartingroup.com. 713-206-2708.
There you go. Janice Bro with Compass and Thaddeus Moore with San Revo Luxury Homes. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having
Thanks.
us.
Appreciate you.
Let's continue and talk to Natasha Surrey. Her company is Apex Realty. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. Thank you for having me.
Well, here you are. Now, you're doing several things in real estate, but let's talk about the first one that comes to mind and what you're kind of actively working on right now.
So I focus on commercial real estate. I work with Apex Brokerage, Apex Realtors. We're a boutique commercial brokerage, almost 10 years old. But we're not just because we're a boutique, doesn't mean we're small. We've got almost 90 listings.
Wow.
I like to work with tenants. My history is hospitality. I used to own restaurants and do events for a living. So over and over again, I started helping people with their business endeavors. And ultimately, I would find them a location. So I got into commercial based on that. So Apex is where I hang my license and I focus on commercial brokerage. But I also have a contract with DeBoban Properties, which is a commercial development group, which has been focused on investment developments for the last 45 years. DeBoban used to build with Johnson Development, which is one of the largest master plan communities builders in the United States. So currently we have a huge project in Fulshire, Texas, which Fulshire is booming right now. It's pretty much the baby Katy. If you grew up in Katy and had the pleasure of living in Cinco Ranch, that's kind of the vibe of Fulshire right now. So because all these master plan community builders are out there, DeBoban used to build with one of these companies and they have right of first refusal on the commercial tracts. When residential builders buy land, they obviously allocate some of it for commercial development in order to support the needs of the community. So DeBoban has a 7.5-acre development in the heart of Jordan Ranch in Fulshire. So I'm focusing on marketing and leasing that out for them.
And that's from the commercial aspect, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, give us a word on commercial, because we don't get to talk that much about commercial real estate here on the show, and it's always great when we do, because commercial and residential ties hand in hand. Everything in the world is connected, but certainly everything in the real estate world is really connected, right?
Yes.
So give us an insight, Natasha, into some of the things in the commercial thing out there in Fulshire. What are some of the things that you're working with and the feel out there from the commercial aspect?
So, when people think commercial, and most people will say, oh, it's a shopping center or something along those lines.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
Correct.
Yeah, there you go.
When you think about that, and as you are correct, retail is a part of commercial. However, it's not the only part of commercial. It's usually the part that affects most people most of the time. Unless you go to an office, you're not going to commercial real estate for an office. You know what I mean? Unless you have a reason for a special need, you're not going to the commercial, anything other than retail mostly. So on our development, what makes DeBoven special is how intentional everything on this development is. It's not a small development. It's 55,000 square feet total, and we're delivering it in phases because the need for it is definitely there. There's from 2019 to now, the population of Fulshire has over doubled. It went from 15 to 35,000. And that's not counting.
That's from 2019.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. I sat with the city manager of Fulshire just to get a little bit more, insight. And he said from 2019 it was at 15,000, and now it's currently at about over 35,000 in official Fulshire, but that's not even counting Jordan Ranch and Tamaron. So in actuality, it's probably tripled in 5 years. And that kind of gives you an idea of the pulse of Fulshire. It's one of the few places you can still grow. And that's why I'm so excited, because DeBoven didn't just do this to throw any kind of retail development. I don't want to work with people that are doing the bare minimum. What I really appreciate about this development is everything is so intentional. Everything is made to benefit the community and serve the community. He doesn't look at real estate the same way either. Most commercial developments, you want frontage, you want to be off the freeway. His are completely different. They're more family-oriented, more community considerate. We want to be around schools. We want to be walking distance from your rec center. We want you to come off your doggy park and come and have a refreshment right when you get out. And that's kind of what's the magic of the development. If you put your eyes on it, I always say, it's caviar real estate. It's beautiful. And there's so much love and passion in this. DeBoven doesn't do commercial real estate just to make money. They do it to build a community, build a relationship with the community and the developers of that community, and last forever.
Well, there's no doubt about that. In fact, as we forget Fulshire for a minute, as we go to any kind of a center, uptown park, or even I'm thinking of the town and country area, I forget what it's called now, but those are, if it's done right, it lasts for a long, long time. And what strikes me as I'm thinking about this company, is it D-O-B, or how do you spell it? Or is it a V?
D-E-B-O-B-E-N.
DeBoven. So when I think about people that are in companies like that, I'm amazed at what they must be thinking and the way their mind works to know how to develop these things successfully. And it must be fun for you to be working around that and learn how much you're learning there. It has to be incredible.
Thank you so much for mentioning those properties, because we do have a lawn, like a grassy area with that intention, because we want to create experiences. Fulshire is kind of out there for them to come into the city for every time they want to eat. It's just not doable. It's not realistic. So we want to create something that the community can be excited about within Fulshire. And then we do have this lawn presence that's in front of two retail. One will be a restaurant, one will be a retail space. And where we intend on having events every weekend, where we intend on having festivals and things for the community. So the whole point is to make, create this beautiful little bubble in Fulshire. So if they don't want to go into Houston, they don't have to. They have everything they need, but it's not, it's not the basics. It's a little bit more upper echelon, because that's kind of the vibe of Fulshire. They're trying to, from what I understand, they're trying to make another Cinco Ranch.
Well, one thing I find is, as I live kind of in the middle, again, far west Houston, I find myself certainly coming into the city for restaurants, friends, and that. But as I live in that area, let's say Greenhouse Road, I find myself going west, because Fulshire is a place where that is becoming a destination to go to for a Saturday afternoon or weekend activity, right? Yes. Or also from that area, you can go on 99 and go to the Lake Livingston and the Woodland, all that. So that area is the importance of it and the future of it. I mean, if we could look ahead, as your developers are doing and your companies are doing, it's got to be incredible 10 years from now, and even 5, what's going to be happening just in that part of the Houston empire.
Yes, and you know what was so fascinating? You're absolutely right. I actually asked the city manager of Fulshire. I was like, if you had a crystal globe, would you tell me where's Fulshire going to be in 10 years? He's like,
they have it, but they're not going to show it to you. I know they have it.
Well, you know, he goes, no, but he told me some fun facts. I guess he had all these like loaded facts for me, but I didn't know this. Fulshire is the number 3 most diverse city in the United States of America.
They have that, yeah.
Yeah, and I asked him, I said, so where are people coming from when they come into Fulshire? And I thought he was just going to say Houston, or I guess I didn't really know. But he said from all over the world. He said 2 members of their chamber, one is from India, which he might have mentioned because he's talking to me. And then he said the other one was like from the Middle East. Since it is an oil and gas-based city, just like Houston, you have a lot of people from all over coming into Fulshire.
That's right. It's awesome. And just a side note, people that have been listening to all 512 of our shows, I don't know if there's anyone out there except Tom Carpentier that has done that, but we've had the Fulshire Police Department, the captain, the chief. We've even had the canine Bell, the dog, on the show many years ago. So we're connected. We love Fulshire, Texas, and it's going to be interesting. It was exciting years ago, and the excitement, as you're relaying to us, Natasha, is going to be something to look forward to even more.
Yes, and actually they're having their bicentennial anniversary on the 23rd. So if you guys aren't doing anything that Saturday, the city of Fulshire is celebrating 200 years.
How about that? 200 years?
Bicentennial.
How about that?
200, right?
I'm not a mathematician, Natasha, but I'm going to go with that. We're going to say it is.
Just go with that.
It doesn't matter. And also, you're also making me think, when you think of the Stewart Title, we have a beautiful place to close real estate transactions right there in Fulshire. But I remember the chief of police took me to have breakfast at one of the local spots right there in downtown Fulshire. I don't know the name of it right now, but yeah, I did a policeman ride along with them, and I wasn't being arrested. I was there as a radio host and a friend of Fulshire. Can you imagine?
I mean, can I imagine?
Yeah, something else.
Fulshire is pretty cool. I grew up in Katy myself. I went to Maid Creek. I'm from Katy. Some people are like, that's not Katy, but whatever. And I just remember Fulshire being like such a far away thing. And I'm, in my 30s now. So I do believe that wow, we've gotten to kind of see the city be built more and more so in front of us.
Well, I'm going to tell Don McCoy, who leads up last I checked, the Chamber of Commerce right there in Fulshire. Now, I don't want to release this, but I guess I will. If he wants to take this, the new tagline could be Fulshire, closer than ever. How about that, huh?
Look at
All right,
you.
how about those royalties? Come on, Don. Anyway, Natasha, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
It's never too early to invest. I would say my message is to everybody, but especially women. I feel like as a woman that's divorced and starting my life for the second time, I've had to kind of become financially independent again. And it's never too early to invest. And an investment is when your money sitting in the bank isn't doing anything. But when you invest, that means your money is making you money. And I know that's intimidating, but come talk to me and I would love to help bridge the gap.
And let's tell people how they can reach you, Natasha Suri.
Yes, you can reach me at Instagram. I am the real Natasha Suri. And or you can call me at 281-546-7625. Again, that number is 281-546-7625.
Thank you so much, Natasha.
You're welcome. Thank you, Bill.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John.
Hi, Bill.
Insurance time again. People wait all the time.
It is. It's we continue to see those spikes in
That's right.
listenership when we get to the insurance
They
section.
love insurance, especially in Fulshear, Texas, and beyond.
That's Fulshear is a big insurance market. Yeah,
no doubt. So, what have you brought for us today, John?
Well, there was a bit of sad news that I wanted to talk a little bit about, but more as a reminder. So we know that we've been, unfortunately, our neighbors in the Panhandle have been suffering through wildfires. And what we're finding out is there are a decent number of the folks that have lost all or most of their property were not insured, that did not have home insurance. So that the responsibility of rebuilding is all going to be on their own. They basically were self-insured. And as I was reading the article, it just reminded me that it's always a good time to make sure that you do have home coverage, but also make sure that you have the right type of home coverage based upon your situation. Because as bad as it is for some of these folks where they'll be burned out of their homes and they don't have coverage at all, so they're responsible for all that cost themselves, it could be equally as bad if you were to have a fire, for example, and that was not one of the perils that was covered in your coverage, or you were to have a backup or a leak or a pipe burst, and you didn't have the water damage as part of your home coverage, that would be equally as bad. So it's important, I guess, to remind our listeners that to take the time, whether you do it yourself or sit down with your insurance advisor and review what your home coverage is, and does it meet your needs in today's market? Because when you first set it up, it could have been different. Your life could be different than it is today.
No doubt about it. I think that's a very important message because most people have insurance, home insurance, but most of us may not know exactly to what extent. And that's why it's so important to use our term that we use every week, and that is to be properly insured. And at Stewart Insurance, that's what you're doing every day, helping people all over the United States.
Well, there were a couple of facts in the article. One, something like 11% of the folks that live in metropolitan areas of the state of Texas don't have home insurance. 28% of the folks that live in rural areas don't have home insurance. So, as you mentioned, being properly insured, and all that really is understanding and being comfortable with whatever coverage you have and knowing what risk you're taking on yourself versus what you're offsetting, the exposures you're offsetting to the insurance company. At least you have an idea. Without any coverage at all, you are basically handling the insurance yourself. So if there's an issue, then it's your responsibility.
Well, it's just settling in what you're saying, John, that there's people that don't have home insurance. I can't imagine that. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
And there are some concerns about the cost of insurance in today's market, and the premiums are high. But working with an independent agent like Stewart Insurance, we have access to a variety of insurance partners. So we can find coverage. It may be expensive in some markets, or it may be limited in some markets, but we can find coverage. But it's important to understand what that coverage is. We talked about the peril. So all a peril is what would be the root cause of a damage. So when an adjuster comes to evaluate a claim, they're going to see what the peril is or that root cause of the damage is. So was it wind? Was it water? Was it fire? Was it theft? So knowing what perils are and are not covered in your plan is important. So some plans are named perils. So they'll say, we only cover these perils. Or there's an all perils policy that says we cover everything except for these perils that we're going to list. So knowing, an all perils policy is going to be a broader coverage, more robust coverage, but the premiums could be a bit higher. Named perils, a bit more conservative coverage. But again, understanding what's covered and what's not. Is it replacement cost or is it actual cash value? So with actual cash value, the insurance company takes into depreciation before they'll pay out on a claim. Replacement costs, they'll replace it at today's market value. So understanding, do you have those types of coverages, in your plan? Do you have the 4 types of water damage? And if so, at what level? So those are the kinds of things that are important to know. And again, whether you review your plan yourself or sit down with your insurance advisor, it's important to do that. And I guess just reading about those poor folks in the Panhandle made me think about that.
I'm going to work it out with my insurance advisor at Stewart Insurance, because everything you just said kind of goes back to wording. Isn't how things are worded, replacement, inflationary, all these things. So we have to really know how the policy is worded. And for a layman, someone that doesn't deal with insurance every day, that's hard to do. That's why I would rely on my insurance advisor at Stewart Insurance, because it's just too hard to know everything in there and to even ask the right questions as a regular person.
Well, and each policy has its own intent, and that's really the purpose of. So what's the intent of this? Is it going to be very robust, broad coverage that will help you out in most instances, or is the intent to be very conservative, that only the worst things that happen, that it comes into play? So again, it's that intent, where you are in your life, in your lifespan, what is your lifestyle like? How many family members do you have? How big is the home? Is there a pool? Do you have pets? All those things come into consideration. So understanding that, or if there have been changes in your lifestyle, if we expanded the home, all understanding those types of things can really affect your insurability, but also can affect the type of coverage that you ought to have, or at least consider.
In fact, in the Wall Street Journal, there's always stuff about insurance, cybersecurity, but also insurance. And one of the things that struck me and made me look at my trees differently, I have a lot of trees in my neighborhood. And one guy said, I don't know where he was at, he said that the insurance company took pictures of his house and the trees were going over his house. And until he trimmed those, he was not able to renew the policy, or the policy was going to go up significantly. So I'm thinking, I better make sure those trees are trimmed. So as a homeowner with homeowners insurance, there's a role that we have to play in keeping our coverage right, because I don't think about it at all that an insurance company may be checking my neighborhood, my home, but I guess they are in some places.
They are. They will audit, whether it be a business policy or
that's
personal
the word I was
policy.
looking for. Audit. I like that.
They will audit coverages, so they'll make sure, they'll confirm the age of the roof. They'll confirm the quality of the home. Things like you mentioned with the limbs over the roof, that's an increased risk. So because of that increased risk, it's either going to minimize the insurability, or it could alleviate the insurability. So in the case that you read about, until somebody they trimmed those trees out so that they weren't hanging over the roof, then they were not insurable. They would not be renewed.
Interesting. People are watching us all the time. They're either on all the cameras that are on the streets, let alone at our houses. There's no privacy.
Well, yeah, there's a good chance of what we've talked about today, that on our phones when we get home tonight, there'll be some sort of an ad about tree trimming.
Exactly. People could probably hear us right now talking about it somewhere.
Well,
the millions of listeners, that is.
Millions of listeners, yes. Yeah.
Well, anyway, John, what else should we know about what's going on at Stewart Insurance, or anything else?
Well, but I do think if you would like to make sure that you are properly covered, whether you have your plan placed with us or not, we'd be happy to have that conversation to make sure that you are properly insured based upon what your current situation is. And as I'd mentioned, being an independent insurance broker, we have access to a variety of insurance companies, both on the commercial side as well as on the personal side. So we have options that we can pull from to make sure that you have the best chance of being properly insured. And if that's an interest, you can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or you can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And reminding people that, again, you're not just helping people in Houston, the area of Houston, surrounding areas, but all over the United States.
We have clients coast to coast, border to border.
There you are. In fact, I was talking to a relative in Pennsylvania. They said, I wish John would say the phone number one more time, because out here in Harrisburg, we want to be properly insured too.
Well, if you'd let your friends in Harrisburg know that we just set up that Harrisburg hotline.
And that is?
866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
I say it on many shows, and that is to stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer. We have two of them with us here today. One is Stacy Tierheimer. Stacy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks so much for having me.
It's awesome to see you again, bringing tremendous guests as always. But let's tell people, Stewart Title, we have offices all over Houston and beyond. The offices that you represent are
in Katy, Texas, and Fulshear, Texas.
We've talked a little bit about Fulshear today. How about that?
We did. Katy's growing like ever before, and Fulshere's growing right along with it. So we've got great people in our Fulshere office and mobile closings possible. So reach out to me. We do the same in our Katy location, and we also have a bilingual person in our Katy office.
I'm also thinking about the locations of those two offices. In Katy, you're so close to one of the now busiest roads, 99.
Yes.
So you're easy on, easy off, right?
Yes, we're right there off of 99 and Westheimer.
And in addition, Fulshere, you're in the center of the Fulshere town, the beautiful little town.
359 and First Street.
You know,
we are right there. Yes.
I'm thinking people may want to just close just to be part of the charm of Fulshere.
It's amazing out there, and I think a lot of people need to go check it out. So.
Well, Stacy, if someone wants to bring their transaction to either location, Katy, Texas, or Fulshere, Texas, what should they do?
They should follow me on Instagram at startwithstacy@Stewart, or they can also call me at 832-392-2053. 832-392-2053.
Thank you, Stacy Tierheimer.
Thank you so much for having me.
And here we are, another tremendous business development officer with Stewart. Her name is Andy Entwistle. Andy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for having me again.
How about those guys at Sparrow, huh? Do you have a horse at your house?
No, I don't.
You don't. Well, let's tell people about the office you represent at Stewart Title.
We are in the Pearland area, less than 5 minutes off of 288 and Broadway, or 518, depending on how far back you've been around in Pearland to know where they're located.
And that's it. And I've not been to the office in Pearland, but that's a pretty busy office, right? I mean, you're in the center of a lot of stuff.
We're right in the center of everything growing. We have us growing on both sides of 288. So we also actually help with the Alvin and Manville area, including reaching out a little further out. We've also been able to assist with Friendswood recently. So it's just a matter of how we can assist and if we have the time, because we're just constantly, it's almost like a revolving door at that office.
It's unbelievable. In fact, Andy, I'm going to request that you give me a tour there one time, because I have not been to the area to even see Manville or these other cities. It's been so long.
That would be fun. I would definitely be down for that. The other time you came over, or we came in here, I should say, you did ask about the pears. We do not have any pear trees. However, we do have like the statues, and we have a scavenger hunt that you could always come down to, and we can always go around and see if we can find all the artwork.
And this is in Pearland, because I said, are there pears in Pearland?
Yes. We don't have an actual pear to eat, but
that's all right.
There are some pears.
Do you have an HEB there?
We have two.
There
Actually,
you go.
3 now. Yeah,
that's where the pears
now.
are. The secret is out, Andy. Let's tell people how they can reach you when they want to bring their transaction to you right there at Stewart Title.
You can definitely give us a call. The number to reach us is 281-412-6900. Again, 281-412-6900.
Thank you so much, Andy Entwistle.
Thank you, Bill.
And she's back, Alina Rogers. She is the broker-owner of Sparrow Realty. Alina, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, here we are, the final part of the show. Let's tell people, what else should we know about Sparrow Realty or anything else?
One thing I always tell my clients is if I'm awake, I'm going to respond. So if you text me, call me, I do my very best to, let you know, hey, I'm at the rodeo right now. I'll call you back in an hour, whatever it is. So I take my communication very seriously and effectively. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or lease, or looking for land and build your own custom home option in Manville, Alvin, Rocher, and Pearland, anywhere kind of down south, me or my agents would be happy to assist you.
Well, I think I'm going to borrow your phrase. That's the first time we've heard that. If I'm awake, I'm going to respond.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yep.
That's a good one. And also, we have to say this. You brought, again, your two wonderful daughters here, Avery and Taylor. Let's get them to say hello real quick, because I bet they've never been on the radio.
They have not.
Come on, girls, say a quick word. And first of all, Taylor, how long have you been riding horses?
I've been riding since I was 3, so about 9 years.
Since you were 3? So you must be pretty good, huh?
I think so, yeah.
And when you're on the horse, last time I was on a horse, you're really tall, very high up. That's kind of, to me, it was a little bit scary. But how does that work? What do you think about when you're riding that horse?
When I'm up there, everything clears my mind. It's like therapy to me.
How about that? Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Taylor.
you.
And your sister, her name is?
Avery.
Hey, Avery, let's tell people a little bit about what you're doing. How old are you?
I'm 14 years old. Yes.
And when you're not busy at school, what are some of the things you like to do?
Well, I'm a competitive dancer and have been dancing for 12 years.
What kind of dancing?
Name it.
Really?
Ballet, tap, jazz.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, hip hop, all of it. Yeah.
Well, your mom was a dancer, right?
Yes,
How
she
about
was. I get those genetics from her.
How about that?
But my dad likes to joke that I get my moves from him.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
Did you have fun today?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You could tell your friends to listen to the show, right?
Yes.
Right. Same with you, Taylor, right?
Yes.
All right. So the audience is growing as we move forward. Thank you so much, Alina. Your phone number again is?
Thank you so much, Bill. My number is 281-961-2944. Again, that's 281-961-2944.
And they're back. Janice, Bro, and Thadamus Moore. Janice is with Compass, and Thadamus is with San Revo Luxury Homes. Hey, guys, welcome back.
Thank you for having us
Did
back.
you miss me?
Of course we did, Bill.
Everybody's lies. Anyway,
Of course we did.
Well, a final word, Janice, before we close things down. It's exciting out there in the West. There's no doubt about it, right?
Oh, no, it's super, super exciting. And we have a team that's well-equipped, ready to go for everyone. And, you know, we've got some things that we can do to make the transaction easier. We have buy before you sell programs that can help people get into that home quicker than they would expect and not have to worry about the home being sold.
Sounds good to me. Right there at Compass Realty. And let's tell people how they can reach you, Janice Bro.
I can be reached at 713-206-2708. You can always email me at janice@thejamiemcmartingroup.com.
Phone number again is?
713-206-2708.
Thadamus Moore. Final word, Thadamus.
Yes, I just wanted everybody to know that if you want to build a affordable luxury home, you can reach us at, the website is www.sanrevoluxuryhome.com. And my phone number is 520-591-9747. 520-591-9747.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for
so
having
much,
us.
Bill. Appreciate you.
And now, Natasha, a final word from Natasha Surrey as we close the show. Natasha, what else should we know? There you are, Apex Realty. You know what? I looked up Apex. That means at the top.
That's right.
It's a point at the top.
You can find us at the top.
Talking to the mic.
Hi, guys.
All right, so Natasha, before we close, what else do you want people to know?
I want you to know that if you guys are looking for amazing commercial retail locations in Fulshire, that DeBoban has a great development that's going to be built over the next 3 years, with phase 1 being delivered at the beginning of this summer. We would love to have you. We're looking for great food and beverage tenants. I used to own restaurants, and that's kind of what I'm here to help them with, is find some great places for the community to eat at and fun stuff for them to do.
Yeah, you're making me hungry, Natasha. So what's the website for DeBoban?
It's www.debobenproperties.com, DEBOBEN properties, plural.com.
Thank you so much, Natasha Surrey. And your phone number is?
My phone number is 281-546-7625.
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's where you can see and hear not just this show, but all the shows, all 512, right there at stewart.com/radio. Together with John Bramlett, all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance, we appreciate you listening.
Thanks for listening to Real Estate Matters.
And we'll see you next week.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, for informative and entertaining information when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate, tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance.